Wade, LeBron down the gut and a two-hand jam.
Wow. To the basket, took a hard hit. This would be a real killer if Chris Bosh is out.
They can't guard great passing.
Chalmers fakes, bounces once, three ball, no! Indiana has squared the series in a game apiece.
You have to be able to manage all of your emotions.
I don't even remember what y'all talking about.
Game 4, pressure on the best to be their best. A tomahawk jam by James, and Wade got right to the rim. James attacking Barbosa, bang, and a bucket for LeBron. James on the putback, James with a block. This series is tied at 2 games apiece.
It was a performance to remember in Game 4. What would LeBron have in store in Game 5? Hi, and welcome to NBA Tonight. Kevin Connors, Tim Legler. Pacers Heat tied at 2, entering Tuesday's run in Miami. You just knew it would be a hotly contested ball game. It was that and then some legs. Second quarter, Dwayne Wade taking it hard to the tin. And speaking of hard, he's fouled hard by Tyler Hansbrough. What'd you see?
A hard playoff foul, no question. Hansbrough was not going to allow this ball to get up to the rim. He actually hits the basketball, and on his follow-through comes across Dwayne Wade's face. They called it a flagrant one. Don't have any problem with that call whatsoever.
Well, less than a minute later, you know what? Haslam may have had a problem with what Tyler Hansbrough did, because Hansbrough makes a move to the basket. What'd you see here?
That should have been a flagrant 2 and an ejection, no question about it. He makes no play on the basketball, comes down with 2 hands across the bridge of his nose. That's an intentional blow to the face. It's retaliation for the foul he committed on Dwayne Wade at the other end. The official should have taken control of that situation right there and issued an ejection. Instead, it was just a flagrant one also.
We're going to talk about that coming up in just a bit. Later, Danny Granger tries the 3, comes down, lands on LeBron's foot. The ankle turns awkwardly. He would head to the locker room. He did return later, but legs, the Pacers' chances did not. LeBron was terrific at the end of the second quarter.
End of the second quarter was critical. It went from a 2-point game, and then after this basket right here off the long offensive rebound, LeBron's able to get to the rim. It goes from 2 to 9 in about a minute and a half heading into the locker room. A huge momentum swing for the Heat.
Third quarter, Danny Granger does come back. Keep an eye on 33. Would struggle to fight through the screen. LeBron gets the easy one-handed throwdown, and then moments later, Granger still favoring that ankle, trying to guard LeBron. No chance. He re-injures it. He'd go to the locker room, taken off on a cart. He did not return to the basketball game. Later, Miami in front by 14. Ronny Turiaf legs is going to send things back on Roy Hibbert as you see Granger head to the locker room. And then how about the outlet pass by LeBron?
This is symptomatic of the night for the Pacers. You got a chance for your 7-1 center to get a play at the rim, gets a shot blocked, and you end up with a circus run out the other way. An incredible play by LeBron James. The body control and strength to catch this basketball and whip it across court, and Dwayne Wade there for the easy finish.
Not an outlet pass, a terrific pass, and then, you know what? Wade's going to return the favor.
How many times have these two guys done this since they've been hooked up? I mean, the passes they have thrown each other, length of the court, the number of times they've done it right in stride, perfect rhythm for LeBron James to go up and finish that play.
Final seconds of the game, Pacers down 37. Watch Lance Stevenson. Dexter Pittman goes to block him out. Whoa. Stevenson hit hard in the neck. There's a history there. Stevenson made a choking gesture to LeBron James in Game 3. Flagrant 1 foul on Pittman. Ugly end to what turned out to be an ugly basketball game on the scoreboard. 115-83 the final. The Heat shot a franchise playoff record 61.4% from the field. The 115 points tied for the second most in franchise playoff history. The 32-point loss is the worst in Pacers franchise history. 30-10-8 for LeBron, his 45th career 30-point playoff game. Only Kobe has more. D. Wade and Miami lead 3-2, headed back to Indy.
I felt good today. I was in the groove, and I let the game come to me. So, no question, this was a total team effort, but it's good for me to get 2 games in a row like this. But, Game 6 is going to be physical, man. We got to understand that, this team has a lot of pride. They're going to come up. I mean, their crowd going to be ready, so they're going to come out with a lot of energy. We got to withstand their first hit, their first attack, and still be standing. And I think we're ready for it, but we'll see.
A lot of good things tonight, but we have to focus on the next one, and really commit to keeping this edge that we've had the last 2 games, knowing that we'll be going into a hostile environment.
Well, speaking of the last 2 games, LeBron and Dwayne Wade have combined to average 25 points per game inside of 5 feet, while the entire Pacers team has averaged just 21 points from that same range. LeBron went 6 for 6 inside of 5 feet on Tuesday night. Frank Vogel's team took one on the chin Tuesday in Miami.
Tip your hats to the Miami Heat for playing a great game. They kicked our butts tonight, clearly defending us and getting out on the break and winning the battle on the glass. But we learned early in this series you don't get 2 wins for a blowout. We just got to regroup and come back and get Game 6. I don't know about David, and Danny's just day-to-day. And I'm going to evaluate it tomorrow and see where he's at.
They're doing a good job forcing us into some tough shots, playing a lot of one-on-one basketball, which is not what our strength is. So, again, we've got to fight and try to find a way to put together a better game than we did today.
To say the very least, Legs, Roy Hibbert hit a 3-pointer to cut the Heat lead to 40-38. After that 3, Miami went on a 36-19 run through the end of the 3rd quarter. The game was over after that. How did things change so quickly?
Well, what it comes down to, you play the Miami Heat, Kevin, your margin for error is about this big. You just cannot miss opportunities that you get against them because they don't give you a whole lot, particularly when you have the basketball. Miami's so good defensively, you can't allow plays like this to happen, and this happened throughout the night. I mean, the Heat concede this layup to Darren Collison, cannot get it to go at the rim. Here, Roy Hibbert, offensive rebound, hasn't had a lot of good looks in this series. This is a 3-footer at the front of the rim for a 7-1 center. You have to put that ball in the basket because you're not going to get that many opportunities. Here on a curl, most important player on the floor just comes off unabated to the rim. No one bumps him. No one gets in front of him. LeBron gets a dunk. This one is mind-boggling. Somehow they allowed the play on with Dwayne Wade laying in the crowd. You've got a 5-on-4 opportunity. You come down 1 pass, and Paul George, not a pure shooter, takes a quick 3-point attempt. You get numbers on the break right here, a 2-on-1 on the backside. You don't even get a clean look out of this, and you end up settling for another long jumper in that possession. And here, Mike Miller's got 1 shoe on, and you don't even recognize this as a team to get the ball to Barbosa so he can attack. When it finally does come to him, he settles for a 3-point shot. So the Indiana Pacers just made too many mistakes. And when you play the Miami Heat, you've got to do a few things. Number one, first and foremost, you've got to play hard and desperate and hungry. They didn't do that tonight. Secondly, you've got to play smart. They didn't do that either. They didn't treat this game like an opportunity to take control with a chance to go home and maybe end the series if you could get a win tonight. This was not a playoff performance for me on any level, including coaching. The Miami Heat were a much more prepared, much better team. Their stars were sensational. The role players were great. They knew the importance of this game, and the Indiana Pacers did not play at the level of intensity that you need to in this situation.
Meantime, it went, Legs, from a physical series to a downright ugly, maybe dirty series. You thought the Tyler Hansbrough foul was him going for the ball. I thought it was borderline. The Udonis Haslem foul was not borderline. That crossed the line. You and I both agree that should have been a flagrant 2. How do you think the league will see this moving forward? Well,
the Hansbrough foul, I thought, was a play on the ball, but because he hit him in the head, I had no problem with the flagrant 1. This clearly should have been a flagrant 2. I mean, he catches him dead across the face, makes no play up at the basketball. He's coming across his face, neck, and shoulder. That should, to me, have been an ejection. That still could possibly be a suspension when the league takes a look at that. The Dexter Pittman play is as dirty as it gets. That should be 4 to 5 games. No, 4 to 5 games, no question. That's an intentional lead with your elbow play directed at a guy's head running full speed to the basket. He catches him across the neck and collarbone. We're still waiting to hear. He may have a fractured collarbone, Stevenson. Now, neither one of these guys are a big part of this series. I understand that. It doesn't matter. You know, Ron Artest got 7 games for an elbow thrown at the head of James Harden. Most of that was because of his prior history and a very dirty play on his part. If that's 7, this is 4 to 5. To me, just as dangerous. You could have fractured his cheekbone. You could have broken his nose. You could have fractured his orbital bone. There's so many things you could do when you lead with that elbow at a guy's head like that that's defenseless. To me, that's as dirty as it gets in basketball, and Dexter Pittman should pay a serious price for it.
Well, your point, Pittman's not a key player in the series, but if Haslem is suspended for Game 6, that could have been minutes that he could have seen. There is some concern for Miami as this series heads back to Indiana for Game 6. Back on NBA Tonight, Kevin Connors, Tim Legler, LeBron James, and the Miami Heat had a chance to pull in front 3-2 of the Pacers in this best of 7. Just before the half is where this game may have turned. LeBron in transition gets it back from Dwayne Wade. He had 30, 10, and 8. Heat win it. Here's Udonis Haslem on his flagrant 1 foul on Tyler Hansbrough.
I took my rap about 9 years in this game, and I ain't never played to hurt nobody. I play hard, and that's it.
Do you think there's any worry about a possible suspension?
I made a play on the ball. You can't get suspended for making a play on the ball.
As a team, we just try to make plays to help one another, succeed. And it was some really good plays in the third quarter that allowed us to open up the lead. We know it's gonna be a hostile environment. They got great fans, so we like to go in there with the same mindset as we had tonight and the same mindset we had on Sunday, and try to close the series.
Well, the Pacers made history in a bad way on Tuesday. A 34% shooting night led to Indy's worst playoff loss in franchise history. The Pacers' only other 30-point playoff loss came back in 2005 when they were beaten by the Celtics by 31. Legs, Indy was outscored, they were out-rebounded, they were out everything in Game 5. For them to have a chance in Game 6, what do they have to do?
Well, they're going to have to get a lot of balance. I said going into this game, they need 5 or 6 guys in double figures, 12 to 15 points. Maybe a leading scorer gets you 18. That's what it takes against Miami because they're so good defensively, locked in individually. You look at this game, 3 guys in double figures. Leading scorer has 11 points. Not good enough. You've got to play with more desperation defensively, and you've got to have better balance and shot making across the board. Big question is going to be what's going to happen with Danny Granger. Is he going to be 100%? Obviously, he's not going to be 100%. Is he going to be able to be effective? If he's not, it's a huge loss to them because he's the one guy that can really get his offense and get his own shot with his length. He's been their leading scorer now for several years. He is the guy that they rely on to get them some big buckets. If he's limited or hobbled, it's going to be very tough to make up for that. But they're going to play a lot of energy at home and see if they can get it done. But there's going to have a few guys step up that weren't there tonight.
David West tweaked an ankle as well in Game 5 of the only game on this night. Under 30 seconds to go, and you said the game turned here, Legs.
Right at the end of the half. You got to finish out quarters in the NBA and the playoffs especially. LeBron gives us some eye candy heading into the half.
And then more on the very next possession, Legs.
Right here, gets it out of his hand quick. Didn't know how much time he had. He could have actually dunked that, but got the layup to go. And again, finishing off the half with a 7-0 run right before they head to the locker room.
And then number 1, Mario Chalmers to LeBron and a bullet to Wade.
That's just special right there. I mean, you talk about the body control, strength, accuracy of that pass. Makes it easy for D. Wade.
And so I get the feeling that Hoop Hero might have number 6 in your future.
It's got to be LeBron James. I just love the way he came out to start this game. 2-2, you're at home. A lot of pressure on your team and in the building. Shane Battier made a couple threes to get them started, but LeBron James was sensational throughout the game and dominated his individual matchups all night long.
I'm glad you said the name Shane Battier. He's my Hoop Hero. 13 points. He was 4 of 5 from three-point range. 9 of his 13 points came in the first quarter. Helped set the tone for the game. Also played his typical solid defense. The Heat lead the series 3-2.